26 on Instagram to see what's trending in your area.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, first at 5.
All right, folks, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today is a first alert weather day for the potential of some strong to potentially even severe thunderstorms with this front that is going to move through for us the rest of this evening into early tonight. Let's first take a look at this one area we're watching on radar. This is actually a fairly strong thunderstorm that's now entering southern Edgefield County, most likely producing up to 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Very heavy rain, a few strikes of lightning, but not a whole lot of lightning currently seen on radar with this one cell. This is also dropping towards Evans, Martinez, downtown Augusta, North Augusta. You're included in that. And then eventually further down the line, Aiken, you're going to be impacted by this line. A little bit further south in the southern CS area, we've been tracking a pretty decent storm that's been rolling through Allendale County that's now entering southern Bamberg County. This was just a discrete storm that kind of formed up ahead of the main line. That is where we're seeing the majority of the rain out there this evening. So this is going to be our front, folks. This is what has to move through for the rest of this evening. So if you have any plans outside, not looking great, unfortunately. How about this view? This is actually from our Grovetown cam. You can actually see what we call a shelf cloud. So that is from rain-cooled air basically just pushing out ahead of that thunderstorm, and we're seeing that shelf form. And this is usually a sign that there are some gusty winds to be found, definitely some heavy rain, and with thunderstorms, we always have to worry about lightning. So just be safe if you do have any plans to be out and about on roadways for the next couple of hours. Very warm afternoon, and this was one of the reasons we have that potential to see severe weather is that we have been able to add a good bit of energy to our atmosphere so far this afternoon. Now, taking you through it hour by hour, if you have any plans this evening, this front is heading our way. So if you live in downtown Augusta, Evans, Martinez, anywhere around the metro, these storms are within 15 to 20 minutes away from us. And then that rainfall is actually expected to continue for a few hours. We're not really expecting that rain to stop until we get to around midnight tonight. Thursday and Friday are looking dry, but it's going to be getting breezy and much cooler. We'll have a look at that first alert forecast in just a little bit. Meredith?
All right. Thanks for that, Riley. The Augusta National Women's Am kicking off today. It is only the second one ever after COVID canceled the tournament last spring, so we aren't really used to what that tournament brings to Augusta, at least not yet. Still, with limited patrons this year for both ANWA and the Masters, it's a smaller group of people in town. Our Sydney Heiberger is live now on Washington Road. And Sydney, what does fewer patrons mean for traffic plans this year?
Well, Meredith, the whole plan has really been a guessing game. Right now, I can tell you on Washington Road, things look like normal. I'll step out of the way, traffic free flowing here. The only reason really that you would know that it's Masters Week is because of the Masters sign you're seeing behind me. Those golf traffic signs you're seeing up and down Washington Road. But obviously, traffic operations for this year's tournament much different than years past, including that patronless Masters we had in November. This year, like I said, it's really been a guessing game about how to plan for this tournament. On a normal day, about 55,000 cars travel up and down Washington Road. During a normal Masters, that number would double. But this year, the traffic department expects only about 6,000 to 10,000 more cars on the road. With that being said, though, normal Masters traffic would be diverted to Riverwatch or Walton Ray to relieve some of that congestion on Washington Road. This year, that is not happening. So that means all cars traveling in, out, and around Augusta National will be on this one road.
In the morning, should be pretty normal. In the afternoon, if you're going to use Washington Road, you will see additional traffic. You will see delays.
You've driven up and down Washington Road, like I said, you've seen the golf traffic signs, you've seen the Masters billboards, but during actual Masters week, some of those traffic devices on the roads will look a little different, and we're going to tell you all about that tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Meredith?
All right, thanks for that, Sydney. Of course, we'll bring you coverage of the Augusta National Women's Am coming up in the next half hour. As of today, every adult, everyone across the two-state is now eligible for the COVID vaccine. Today, South Carolina expanded its rollout to anyone age 16 and older. Georgia made that same move last week. If you want to get vaccinated, we have links to sign up for clinics pinned to our homepage at Wrdw.com. Just this morning, Pfizer announced its vaccine is safe and highly effective in kids as young as 12. That's according to data from a late-stage trial with more than 2,200 children 12 to 15 years old. 18 different COVID cases were reported in the placebo group, but there were none reported in the vaccinated group. A North Carolina 12-year-old doesn't know if he got the vaccine or if he got the placebo, but he says he's glad he could help make other kids feel safe about the vaccine.
Yeah, it's definitely a very special opportunity to be able to do something like this, because usually I'm just at home doing online school and there's not much I can really do to fight back against the virus.
Brave kid. The companies do plan to submit the data to the FDA as soon as possible, so its emergency use authorization could maybe expand to younger teenagers. On his second day in Augusta, Senator John Ossoff visited the vaccination site at Craig Houghton Elementary. While there, he announced $112 million from the American Rescue Plan is going to the Richmond County school system. Last night, we were told the district is getting $117 million. We've reached out to Senator Ossoff's team and the school system to get clarification on that amount. Meanwhile, Senator Ossoff says at this point in the distribution process, it's up to us to get vaccinated.
I want to emphasize that the vaccine is safe, it's free for all Georgians 16 years of age and older. And the only way we beat this virus is by taking responsibility for our health and the health of our families and our community's health and getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
He warns there is the risk of a fourth wave of the virus, and again says the best way to prevent it is to get vaccinated. It is day 3 now of the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who faces murder and manslaughter charges for the death of George Floyd. As Michael George reports, the prosecution continued laying out its case, including playing a new video from the day he died.
Does Mr. Floyd make his way to the tobacco counter to make a purchase with you?
Prosecutors played new video for the jury, captured inside a neighborhood store where George Floyd was accused of giving cashier Christopher Martin a counterfeit $20 bill.
What was the store policy about cashiers accepting $20 bills?
If you took a counterfeit bill, you would have to pay for it out of your money or your paycheck. I was planning to just put it on my tab until I second-guessed myself, and as you can see in the video, I kept examining it, and then I eventually told my manager.
Defense attorney Eric Nelson questioned Martin about Floyd's demeanor.
You formed the opinion that Mr. Floyd was under the influence of something.
Correct.
And you base that on sort of, I think you said, a delay in his speech and response, right?
Correct.
And I believe in your interviews you also indicated that he was having some trouble with certain words.
Correct.
A manager called police, which led to Floyd's arrest. Martin came out of the store when he saw the commotion. Security footage captured him as he looked at Derek Chauvin, his knee on Floyd's neck.
We saw you standing there with your hands on your head.
Disbelief and guilt.
Why guilt?
If I would have just not taken the bill, this could have been avoided.
The trial was briefly halted today when one of the jurors flagged the judge, saying she felt sick. After a 20-minute break, she took the stand to say she had a stress-related reaction. Prosecutors also played a cell phone video taken by Christopher Belfry, who started recording the initial encounter between the officers, Floyd, and his friends.
One officer drew a handgun and opened the door and pointed the gun at whoever was in the driver's seat.
The trial is expected to last up to 4 weeks.
The most serious charge, second-degree murder, carries a maximum sentence of 40 years in prison. 72 different black businesses. It's easy enough to buy a painting, but what's the deal with digital art? When we get back, what it means to own a piece of crypto art. Riley?
Meredith, we are keeping an eye on a very strong thunderstorm moving through Edgefield County. Get ready, downtown Edgefield, Trenton, Johnson as well. 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts with that particular cell. Update on radar in your first alert forecast next.
It's the most deadly cancer for men and women in the 2 states.
My own dad died of lung cancer.
And the I-team found our local survival rates are all below average. New changes coming to screenings that could save your life. Thursday on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Now it's a re-estimate that's valid for 30 days.
We want to update you now on our first alert weather day. We'll send things right over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale. Looking dark out there. there in some places, Riley.
Definitely some ominous clouds to be found. We actually have been tracking a shelf cloud ahead of a very strong thunderstorm currently moving through Edgefield County. For the rest of this evening, there will be that potential for some strong wind gusts with thunderstorms, maybe even some small hail. The tornado threat is very low, but we are starting to actually see some rotation in some of these thunderstorms, just nothing tight enough that would indicate a tornado. No current warnings or watches for the CSRA this afternoon. We've just seen a few special weather statements for some stronger thunderstorms, including this one now about to affect downtown Edgefield. You're likely starting to hear that thunder outside. That heavy rain's about to pick up, and you're definitely seeing those gusty winds up ahead of this bowing segment. So you can see how it just kind of arches like that. That bowing is what we call it. It's usually a sign that there are some strong winds to be found with those particular thunderstorms. So heads up Edgefield County, if you live in places like Trenton, Johnston, even up towards southern Saluda County near Ward and Ridge Spring, this storm is going to be heading your way, producing up to 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. Closer towards the metro, Evans, Martinez, you're likely starting to see that rain pick up, maybe even some gusty winds there for us here in the Augusta metro. Not much longer before that heavy rain threat does pick up, and we potentially could see some gusty winds, but it looks like our severe weather threat is somewhat lower for us here in the Augusta metro. A little bit further south and west, you can see some more cells trying to pop up ahead of this main line, and we've seen a few discrete cells form up ahead of this main line. This one's been going pretty good through Allendale and Bamberg County. Downtown Earhart starting to see that heavy rain threat pick up out there. But all this is thanks to a much bigger complex, so we're seeing this line of showers and thunderstorms form up ahead of our next cold front. Behind this cold front, we definitely will find some much cooler temperatures over the next few days. So taking you through it, hour by hour, we'll start to see that rain pick up here in Augusta within the next 20, 30 minutes. And then once that rain starts, we are expected it to linger a few hours for us. So not looking too dry for us this evening. Even if you don't see severe weather, you do have a very high chance of at least seeing some rain. By the time we get to around midnight, most of that rain is now moving east of us. Waking up to plenty of sunshine on Thursday. Thursday just going to be much cooler, and we're definitely going to see some fairly windy conditions, especially early into the morning to around midday. High temperatures Thursday, not expected to be too warm by any means. We should actually stay in the 50s across much of the area heading into tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at Grovetown. You can start to see this was actually where we were tracking that stronger storm that has now moved north and east of us through Edgefield County. So a little bit better outlook here at Grovetown. But we're still at 84 degrees here in Augusta. That's one of the reasons why we have that potential for some stronger storms. Just a lot of energy in our atmosphere here this afternoon. Now, I did want to give you another first alert for your Friday and Saturday morning. There is going to be the potential for some freezing temperatures. Hold out on planning anything until we get past the Easter weekend.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. I want to let you know North Leg Road near Harvest Point Way will be closed until at least 6 o'clock tonight. Augusta Fire Department officials tell us there's a fire there. We do know that fire is contained. Georgia DOT also on scene there. Of course, we will keep you updated and let you know when that road reopens. If you enjoy art, there is a new style of digital art called crypto art. Our tech reporter Jamie Tucker talks with a successful crypto artist about how it all works.
Well, let's forget for a minute what NFT stands for. Even the artist I spoke to, the one behind this artwork behind me, said he didn't fully grasp it when he started 4 years ago. Working under the pseudonym Big Comic Art, he asked me not to reveal his identity.
You know, oh, I love your artwork. Let me give you $5. All right. And then it was $10, and then it was $50, and then it was $50,000, you know?
Big Comic Art has been painting for over 25 years. Rather than selling his work at galleries to a limited number of potential collectors, his digital art is now for sale on multiple crypto art websites for anyone around the world to purchase.
The more you get into it, the more it makes sense.
Digital art has been ripped off for years. Google makes it easy to find and, well, steal. Selling work on what's known as the blockchain using cryptocurrency makes it possible for someone to actually own the art, even put it on display.
And so these digital screens sort of turn into digital paintings.
Screens could also be televisions, like Samsung's Frame. Some are moving images, some are portraits and paintings. Right now, most are expensive. Some of Big Comic Art's work, this one called 2021, goes for over $37,000. He told me this crypto art NFT technology is great for collectors and creators.
Through this technology, people were paying rent, surviving, sharing their artwork with the world.
How do you buy crypto art? Turns out out it isn't as easy as it should be. I'll show you next time. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. The first round of the Augusta National Women's Amateur was suspended because of bad weather. That happened just after 4:30. That's all we know at this point, of course, but we will keep you updated. Medical marijuana, it is already legal in more than 30 states. Could South Carolina be next? We'll take you to the debate when we get back. South Carolina could be the next state to allow the use of medical marijuana. A bill that would make it legal for South Carolinians to use and sell non-smokable marijuana for medicinal purposes is now heading to the full Senate for a debate. State House reporter Adam Mitzner has been following the story. He joins us live with more. And Adam, similar bills have been debated for more than 6 years now. How are supporters of this bill feeling about it right now?
Meredith, they really hope that this is their time. I spoke to the lead sponsor and writer of this legislation, Senator Tom Davis from Beaufort. He said he is, quote, very optimistic that not only will this bill pass, but might pass as soon as the end of next week. He says after going through this fight for years, this time feels different.
This bill is so conservative, it is restricted, it addresses all the unintended consequences.
Davis says he has worked with the business, medical, and law enforcement community to come up with a bill that gets to their concerns. He wrote the bill so that no one can smoke marijuana, no one can drive while high, and employers don't need to allow employees to use marijuana at work. Still, Republicans and Democrats say they have concerns.
Physicians and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division stand in opposition to passage of this bill.
Why haven't the FDA approved it in 6 years? If it's such a good thing for people who suffer.
And I don't want to see a bunch of marijuana shops with big marijuana leaves around.
Senator Davis says he will meet with every senator who has a concern, but those suffering from illnesses that he says marijuana would help need that help now.
We cannot wait any longer for these people to have their suffering alleviated. It's immoral.
I reached out to some of the main opponents of this legislation, including the head of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, Chief Keel. Keel said that one of his main concerns when it comes to this bill is that the FDA still hasn't approved marijuana for all the different uses that were being talked about here. He says that he thinks that this bill is just a pathway to legalizing marijuana in South Carolina. Reporting live from the South Carolina State House, Adam Mintzer on your side.
Thank you, Adam. The bill passed out of committee in a 9-5 vote. If you have any input, you can contact your South Carolina state lawmakers and pass it along. Riley?
Meredith, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Edgefield, Aiken, and Saluda County. The storm is producing up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts and even up to quarter-size hail. We'll have much more on an update on this new warning in that first alert forecast next.
Injured? It won't
hurt. Call all nights, weekends, 24/7.
All right, folks, if you're just now tuning in to us, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Edgefield, Saluda, and Aiken County. This does include places like Limp, Blacks, Johnston, Ridge Spring, Minetta as well. Here's a timestamp of when we're expecting this storm to affect your community. It is going to be in effect until 6 p.m. for the threat of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and even up to quarter-size hail as well. The signature I'm seeing on radar here, this white-pink color, definitely signs of a hail core and some intense rain, possibly some large hail, and definitely some gusty winds to be found with this system. So if you do live in anywhere, Edgefield, Saluda, Aiken County, be sure you're getting inside, staying away from windows. Keep it here for updates throughout the evening.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Still to come, the Augusta National Women's Am officially underway over at Champions Retreat. However, they just suspended play because of the weather. We will have an update on all the action that did happen on the course Coming up next, first at 5, Richard Rogers is here. Don't go anywhere.